I'm recording this video after about 6 hours from the UFC 306. I took that time because I had to recover from what I just saw. I have strong feelings about the production and the event as a whole. Most importantly, Sean versus Merab. Let's start with that. First round started, Sean was not that active on the feet and Merab took him down. Sean got up, he got taken down again. And then the second round started, the same story. Fun fact, Sean was doing so bad in the feet, Merab was actually outlanding Sean. This was the full striking numbers throughout the whole fight. Even there, you can see the same pattern. And then the third round starts, which was Sean's best round until that moment, and he still lost that round. In my opinion, he lost, but if you tell me that Sean won the third round, I would not call it incorrect because I can definitely see a case for Sean winning the third round. But it was a close round, and close rounds are not robberies. And the fourth round starts, it's the same story. Merab takes Sean O'Malley down, Sean O'Malley managed to get up here and there, Merab takes him down again, and they put the pressure on him, and while he's trying to get up, lands some ground and pound shots. And then the fifth round starts. This round, Sean O'Malley clearly won, but here are the final scorecards anyway, so you can take a look for yourself. Fifth round, Sean had Merab in trouble during the last about a minute and a half. He landed a really nice front kick that hurt Merab, and Merab was in visible pain. But that shot really did not matter, even though Sean managed to somewhat capitalize on that with some knees and some other front kicks, because Sean did not manage to finish Merab, therefore losing a decision. And this is not one of those, it was a close fight, I could see either of these guys winning. No. This is not Dricus du Plessis versus Sean Strickland, but this is pure domination by Merab Dvalishvili. Even in the best case scenario, Sean still wins only the third and the fifth, and Merab wins the other three. Now let's compare this to the expectations going into this fight and my personal opinion on how this whole thing unveiled. I have to make this extremely clear. I do not hate Merab Dvalishvili. I think he has a personality. Yeah, I don't really care if it's a good personality or a bad personality. For the record, I think he's a nice guy. I think outside of the cage, he gives me a reason to like him, gives me a reason to care about him. I do not particularly find his skits funny. It's kind of like the TikTok humor, and I do not use TikTok, so I don't really get that, but I can definitely see how some people can find it funny. And at the end of the day, even in the fighting style, yes, it's not exciting to watch because I know what's going to happen. What's going to happen is Merab try to take you down over and over again due to his inhuman cardio, and the other guy is going to crumble to the pressure. Like, I know what's going to happen, and even though I know that that's a guaranteed victory, I just don't find joy in it. It's just painful to watch. I wouldn't call it boring because there are cool moments. Like the time when he slammed Henry Cejudo, and even this time when he started kissing O'Malley's back. And that time when dude attempted 40 something takedowns on Jose Aldo. There are interesting moments in the fights, but it's not entertaining. But I still don't dislike him. The problem in this case is Merab actually beat a guy whom I cared about, and I was really looking forward to seeing what's in his future. And that is the same scenario with most likely you too. You was a Sean O'Malley fan and wanted to see what's in his future. Is he going to have a super mega fight with Ilia Topuria? Imagine the build-up, imagine what will happen during the fight. Or is he going to defend his belt against Umar Nurmagomedov? You know, one of Khabib's main, and Sean is kind of like the Conor McGregor light version, and it definitely would have been an exciting fight to watch. And what about the other amazing bantamweight prospects? I wanted to see if he could build his stardom all the way up and then maybe get a boxing fight with, I don't know, Tank Davis? What could have happened? But here we are because we will never know. Sean is no longer the champion and he lost to Merab. And Merab is Sean O'Malley's replacement. And that's where I have the biggest problem with. Sean O'Malley is top 3 the best strikers in the sport right now, and he was eye candy to watch. And now that guy is being replaced by Merab Dvalishvili, whose entire style is he takes you down, you get up, he takes you down, you get up. I could not care less if he's a grappler or a wrestler. The problem with him is he does not even finish you. He doesn't finish you via submissions. He does not finish you via TKO. He does not ground and pound you to the extreme like Nurmagomedov or Dagestani would do. He just takes you down but can't even control you most of the time, therefore leading into another takedown, therefore leading into a really high takedown number, and he will do it again for the rest of his opponents. And that's where I think us as MMA fans has to come together and cook up a plan. And I already got the plan, and here's how it's going to go. Remember during the post-fight speech with Joe Rogan, Merab Dvalishvili was asked about Umar Nurmagomedov. And what did Merab say? Dude literally said nothing. Dude just completely ignored the question and started glazing Dynamite and calling him like, oh dude, you're the only reason why fighters do. Like, I get it, dude. I like Dynamite. Obviously, he has his flaws, so does everybody. I have my flaws and I have my strengths. Everybody does. And that's just how real people are. But the question was not about him. What are we doing? What does Dynamite's contribution to the sport has anything to do with Joe Rogan's question about you fighting Umar Nurmagomedov? And I would have completely let this slip through the cracks if it was not for the post press conference. In this press conference too, a reporter asked about Umar. What did Merab do? He once again started glazing Dynamite. It was borderline weird, by the way. He said that he wants to talk to Dynamite beforehand and talked about how he wanted to shake his hand inside the octagon. That's fine. But then said that he wants to be Dynamite's friend and then I get to know him better. And once again, what on earth does that have to do with the question being, do you want to fight Umar? You see a pattern here? But then Merab said something pretty interesting. He talked about how Umar is undeserving of the title shot next, even though he beat Corey. Now, there's some truth to this, and I actually was on Merab's side until he beat Sean O'Malley. I think if Umar was given another fight against any of the top 5 bantamweights, he's probably going to beat them, except for people like, I don't know, Merab and Sean itself. And it's not about whether he becomes victorious in those fights, it's about doing those fights. Sure, he might be the biggest underdog leading up to the fight, but I still want him to go through the preparation, go through those months of training and actually fight the guy. We don't do just guesswork and tell, hey, I think he's good enough, let's give him the title. No, you have to at least fight 2 ranked opponents before we do the whole, jumping through the rankings and fighting the champion. So I was on Merab's side and I thought Umar has to fight at least one more guy and then Merab can do something else and then fight Merab. But I am no longer on Merab's side because I actually want Umar Nurmagomedov to not fight anybody else, but just straight away go and fight Merab Dvalishvili. Because I think Umar can beat Merab and we can get Merab out of the title picture. I just want Merab gone from the title. This might sound like a personal dispute, but I can guarantee it's not. I might sound like I don't, but I do have respect for anybody who gets into the octagon, and especially for someone like Merab who's fighting at this caliber against these crazy good opponents in the biggest spotlight ever in the martial arts history. I have immense respect for him. But let's get back to the Umar versus Merab thing. So Umar is actually entertaining. Remember, his fight against Corey Sandhagen was not a wrestle fight. It was a complete domination of Corey Sandhagen. Even on the feet, Umar was basically just straight up outstriking Corey Sandhagen. And unlike Merab, Umar can actually finish the fight. He can either go for a TKO via ground and pound or submission. So you see what I'm saying? Because if a striker goes against Merab, like, I don't know, even Corey, even though he lost the fight, you know what will happen? What will happen is Merab just out-grappling him, and those exciting strikers are going to be taken away from the spotlight. But if he can get a grappler and a good striker to go out there and out-grapple Merab and take him out of the big scene, and then we can not have him in the spotlight for a while, and get the strikers back on track. So the plan is for us to go ahead and support Umar Nurmagomedov. Yes, a Dagestani to go out there and fight for the title, and let's get Merab out of the title picture. Then Umar versus whoever striker he wants to fight. Also, I like Umar. Umar is pretty entertaining to watch. The Dagestanis have actually started to get pretty entertaining. Islam Makhachev, super entertaining to watch. I don't think this is a controversial statement, but Islam Makhachev is definitely top 3 when it comes to fight IQ in the game. I just want to watch some good entertaining fights on Saturday nights or like Sunday mornings for me, and I do not want to see Merab Dvalishvili headlining pay-per-views back to back to back. And now I'll rapid fire through all the main event fights. Ronaldo Rodriguez versus Ode Osborne. I could not care less about the fight until the press conference. Ronaldo Rodriguez made me a fan. Dude was dropping slurs back to back to back, apparently in Spanish. For the record, I'm not a fan of him just because he said slurs. I'm a fan of him because he gave me something to care about, and the press conference was entertaining. Plus, the actual fight, it was really good. None of the main card fights had any sort of a finish. 4 of them were unanimous decisions, 1 of them was a split decision. And it's the next fight, I'll talk about that in a second. But with regards to this fight, Ronaldo Rodriguez won a clear decision and I absolutely loved it. I had it 29-28 Ronaldo, and Odeo Spawn had a good round too. Daniel Salhuber versus Esteban Ribovic. Fun fact, I picked Esteban Ribovic. I know you would not believe me, obviously, because I never made my picks public, but I picked this in my verdict. If you know verdict, you know what it is. Anyways, the fight starts and it was entertaining. The first round was good, the second round was good. Nothing really special, but oh man, the third starts. I am not exaggerating this, but the third round, if you miss this fight, I want you to go back and watch this. The third round of this fight was one of the best rounds I have ever watched in this sport. Yeah, I know I don't look like I'm old enough to go through the entire UFC renaissance, but I am a decent fan enough to go back and watch majority of the UFC pay-per-views back in the day, and there's almost no big pay-per-view events or fights I have actually missed. And I told you that because I want you to know I'm not just saying this for the sake of saying it. It's actually one of the best rounds I have ever seen in my life. And I could not believe how on earth Daniel did not get knocked out or knocked down. Dude was eating heavy shots back to back to back. Esteban was piecing him up, and then Daniel just stood there. And then the round continued, and then Daniel was back on the track. And then Esteban took the upper hand again, then Daniel took it back, and then it was nothing but chaos. I scored this fight 29-28. Majority of the judges scored it 29-28. Esteban Ribovic. I am a fan. Now to Brian Ortega versus Diogo Lopez. This also went to the decision, as I said previously. But oh man, this fight was entertaining. Brian Ortega got cracked up multiple times. And Brian is usually the comeback guy, but I knew it was not happening this time, because he was going against my boy Diogo Lopez. And I think after whatever the direction Holloway vs Tuporio goes, do not be surprised if you see Diogo fighting for the title. And then Alexa Grasso vs Valentina Shevchenko. It was boring. It genuinely was boring. There was multiple submission attempts, but it was mostly Alexa doing it from the back, and you could clearly see after about like 10 seconds it was not going anywhere else. The only thing Valentina did was take down Alexa and just lay on top. Usually I like to rewatch what happened during the UFC fights before I make this video. I did not watch this fight. I did not rewatch this fight because I could not go through the pain of watching it for 25 minutes, guys. Like, I just can't. It wasn't like Rose Namajunas versus Carla Esparza bad, because in that fight nothing was happening. In this fight something was happening, and that something was Valentina staying on top of Alexa Grasso for 25 minutes. And then Valentina went on this whole thing about how, this is what women's MMA was missing, and this is what women's MMA is about. And she started to do the whole thing. If that is what women's MMA is about, God bless women's MMA. Because the only thing I saw was nothing but one fighter staying on the other fighter for 25 minutes. No entertainment value at all. Valentina, I get the whole victory. Congratulations. I cared about this fight because I think Alexa Grasso is cute. So I wanted her to win, though I picked Valentina Shevchenko because I thought that the first fight was a fluke, and the second fight she won. I thought it was only a matter of time, and here we are. And then Sean versus Merab. I already went through that, so I guess I'll talk about the event now. I missed the first fight. You would not believe this. I actually missed the beginning of the event. I never wanted to do that. I wanted to see how they would open up the LED screen. I still haven't seen it, by the way. I have to go and watch the whole thing, the beginning. UFC was meant to start at 5 AM for me, and I set the alarm at 4:30. I woke up, I switched off the alarm, and I slept until 5:50. Woke up and realized, oh shit. Went downstairs, washed my face, got my water bottles filled up, and then started watching the event from the prelims. Prelims was super entertaining. I liked it. There were a couple of finishes and the fights were pretty cool actually. And that's kind of like a casual way of saying it, hey, it's the prelims, guys. None of y'all even cared about the first 2 main card fights. And till that moment, I thought it was actually pretty cool. The backdrop was fun, and there were real-time stats of the BPM and then some other stats. That was really cool. Till the main card started and I lost my mind. I made a video about this event, UFC 306. a couple of days ago. I talked about 5 weird facts about it. It's still relevant even though the event is over. I went through some couple interesting things you probably even don't know about. Still, I'll remind you about that video at the end of this video, so you can click it if you want to watch it. But the point being, I was really looking forward to it. I think MMA fans are kind of ungrateful. We like to complain about a lot of things because we have it so good. We don't know what the boxing fans are going through. And when the UFC tries something new, some fans just bitch and scream about everything, and I'm not a fan of it. I want to try new things and I want to experience new things. And I was not disappointed. For the record, I'm a 3D generalist and a junior real-time visual effects artist. That's my job role. That's what I do for a living. YouTube is not my livelihood, guys. I have 22 subscribers. But yeah, that's my actual job title, and that nerd in me was screaming my ass off. I do not even care how much it costs. Just do UFC pay-per-views in the Sphere. Screw other countries, they don't deserve this. Just do it in the Sphere, do it in the USA, do it in Las Vegas, every single pay-per-view. And I felt like I was invested in something that I really didn't even want to be invested in. Sure, I might see the tail of the tape and the usual video edit before the fight and then go into the usual fights, but this time that 60-second animation and the way the background changed and they like had the event in this amazing environment really mesmerized me. Like, that's actually the word, mesmerizing. There you go. And I want to see more of it. And that's why I quickly came up with 3 possible cool ideas for next year's Sphere. Yes, I know Dana White initially said he's not going to do it again, but guys, they had a $21 million gate. After what people experience today, next time in the Sphere, tickets are going to be much higher. Number 1, they could do a 4th of July inspired UFC event. Celebrate American Independence Day. I mean, guys, majority of the UFC guys are from America, and look at the GOATs. John Jones, Demetrius Johnson, and even like current champions, forgetting about Merab Dvalishvili, imagining Sean O'Malley was still a champion, then Sean O'Malley, Belal Muhammad, John Jones once again, and all the other cool American fighters. Dude, half of the roster is American. Second idea, a general, really good, strong, top heavy in a sense, main card heavy event. Make it so that the first main card event and the last main card event we could see headlining different pay-per-views, and collect them all together and put them in this pay-per-view. Prelims, early prelims, make it entertaining. I don't care. The main card, make it solid, and you got an event. And now the third idea. This is kind of tricky because I don't know if exactly they'll manage to pull this off, because the timing is the main factor in this situation, and that is legends versus new guys. No, I'm not talking about Keita Ortiz versus a new guy, Rampage Jackson versus a new guy. No, I'm talking about people like Dustin Poirier, Justin Gaethje, even someone like Kamaru Usman, Max Holloway, depending on how his fight against Ilia Topuria goes. And most importantly, John Jones versus Tom Aspinall. You see kind of the pattern? We need to have a strong set of legends who are UFC veterans and then get them to fight really upcoming new prospects. Not super like new prospects, but some prospects with some experience. And then the event can be headlined with John Jones versus Tom Aspinall, which is the ultimate spirit of legend, old head versus new and upcoming prospect. And those are the 3 ideas I came up with like last hour actually. So maybe I can think about it for a while and come up with some good new ideas. Those are the ones I could come up with so far. And in a couple of days, I'll be back again with a new video. And in this upcoming video, I'm actually going to talk about an interesting topic, which is the MMA media. Why do they ask bad questions, like really untrue, stupid questions? And that is what that video is going to be. At the same time, I'll also talk about the UFC 309 card UFC announced, which is headlined by John Jones versus Stipe Miocic and Michael Chandler versus Charles Oliveira, and got some Bo Nickel and Jose Aldo fights over there too. Stay subscribed so you will get the notification to watch those videos, and YouTube will recommend my videos to you. And also, if you like the video, consider pressing the like button because it helps with the algorithm and YouTube pushes my video to more people. And this is the video I made about the UFC Sphere event a couple of days ago that I previously mentioned, and go and check that video out if you want to. And hey, if you get lucky and win $25,000 from Dynamite, thank me later. If you did not get that reference, just watch the video, you'll get it. And I will see you soon.